Alright, I'm going to do a rock to point challenge. See how it works out. I got a request to do a point type yesterday or today that I've never heard of. Let's see if I can make it with this. I think this is a raw piece of chert. Yeah. Anyway, this point is going to be kind of thick, which makes it a little bit easier since I've never made one. They're not very big. 2.5 to 5 inches long. Let's see. Pretty typical for that little dart point. Stone is 3 3/4. Still relatively early, so the dogs are still up, barking away. All right. This is a Texas rock, I believe, so it's not the kind of stone that these points were made from, but I don't have a local stone that's not heat treated, because I think most of these were made from raw cherts. So I'm using a piece of raw chert. Now I'm not using natural tools. But I think you'll get the general idea of how these things look like. Maybe not how they were made exactly, but how they look like. Alright, let's see. Let's try this. It's not working very well with the indirect percussion flaker, not yet anyway. Yeah, I can generate a lot more power with the billet. Now I can't thin this down too much because the width to thickness ratio is like 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. Let's see. That's a little bit better. It's not ideal, but oh well. Yeah, it's not too bad. There we go. Okay. Let's try a larger, thicker. This is steel. This is aluminum. Let's try some aluminum and see. It might work okay. Yeah, works okay. Pretty tough in this area though. When I was reading the description, it says that these are well-made points, so I don't know. I might be in trouble. Because I might end up with a bunch of step fractures in the concrete areas. So I have to make sure that I shape this well in the early stages. So maybe I don't have to do thinning in the later stages when it's more difficult to avoid the step fracturing. This tip area looks like it's pretty good quality. These things didn't have really sharp points. They were kind of rounded. But I got to get rid of that cortex. That worked out well. Usually on tough stone I can't get the flakes to go exactly where I want. Yeah, like that. Get little steps. There we go. Still have that step there though. I still get that question, why do I grind the edge? I get the question, why do I grind, or why do I don't grind? Well, I grind so it doesn't crush. You got to be able to remove the flakes. You're hitting it with something, so usually when you hit something like this with something else, it crushes. It just makes a big nasty crush spot. Oops, that was not good. So if I abrade it so it's kind of dull, it doesn't crush as much, and it allows me to peel off a flake when I hit it. So it's just going to be a challenge right there in that area. Yeah. See, this is only 1.5 inches wide at the most, I think. Let's see. I got some cheat notes. But I wrote the cheat notes on my my auction notes. Let's see. 1 inch to 1.5 inches wide. All right, so we got plenty of room. I might be able to take off most of that nasty concrete area. So yeah, I got a lot of this plain old gray chert, mostly in flake form. Not sure where I got this nodule, but it's working out okay. So far, not too bad. Now I probably can heat treat this stuff, and I could have made something else from it. When it's heat treated, but no, we'll just do the challenge point. Let's try the steel. Now that we're down to a little bit thinner and the platforms are smaller. I'm thinking I need to abrade a little bit more when I'm using the steel. We'll see. Oh yeah. Not getting anywhere. Let's see. Alright, let's try the aluminum metal on metal. Okay, a little bit better. Super tough. And now this has notches in it too, so I might be in trouble when it comes down to putting in the notches. Youch. Alright. Snapping like Rhyolite in that concrete area. Well, the plastic doesn't want to do it. When I use a mallet made of plastic. Let's try the metal again. Okay, a little bit better, but that was also better quality stone in that area. Yeah, I've been known to say it's easier to strike into a bad area from a good area instead of trying to attack the bad area head on. You know, my own advice. I'm not taking my own advice. Because I'm thinking I can just blast through it. Yeah, just blast right through. Easier said than done. But I am going to try to blast into that area. Alright. Blast into the area from a good or relatively good spot in the material. That worked a little bit. I don't know. It does work a little bit. I'm going to have to get this a lot more narrow. I felt that one on my finger. It drove it into my hand, so it's some really tough stuff. In certain areas. Up here it's not too bad. Yeah, it's not bad up here. Nope, it's pretty good. Alright. Oops. I'm doing a lot of slipping. So, I'm a little tired, so I'm not going to be goofing around too much. Not too much goofing in the video. Some of you will say, hey, alrighty. Just go somewhere where there's no dogs and we'll be good. I know. Alright, good area into bad area. Let's see if it works. And I'm above center line. So it didn't work too good. Yeah. I'm going to try again. I'm going to keep attacking that turtleback. See if I can get some flakes to go over the top. Close. It tried. Yeah, we might be able to get to it. Yeah, if I go a little bit higher up on the platform and then strike it. Yeah, a lot of times that's dangerous though because it can take a big bite out of the edge. Can I switch to plastic? I probably should switch to plastic. Yeah. Alright, so we're getting there. Why switch to plastic at this stage? Because most of the bad stuff is gone now. Yeah. The only bad stuff now is in this corner. And I think, yeah, it's starting to transition into the better stuff. Yep. All right. So the hard part is pretty much over because it can still remain thick. I don't need to thin it more than this, or probably not. Let's see the width to thickness ratio. So far, yeah, I got up to 1.5 inches, so it's got to get smaller. And if it's a 1/2 inch, it's good. If it's 3/8, it's probably best. I have a 3/8 inch guide over here. I got, in my notes. So right here in the thickest part, it is 3/8, right? So I've already thinned it enough. But I want to flatten it just a little bit more, if I can. Being very careful that I don't take too much off. All right, so that's the basic shape. Yeah. I'm gonna take a little bit more off the tip, just a little bit more off of this area. Yeah. All right, then I'm just gonna regularize it. Do a little bit of damage control. If I see something that needs to be removed, like a lump or a step fracture, there's a lump here, so I'm gonna remove that. It says in the description that the base was thinned and lightly ground. Oops, my Abrader. I'm abusing my Abrader too much. Yeah, I don't want to create an island in there. Gotta be careful. See, I've got a step right there, and there's a little step right there. I could end up with a little island, so I have to avoid it. This is a good spot to take a flake up in here, right between the two step fractures. See if the flake will hit that and pop it out. It's dicey, but I'm gonna do it. Ouch. Oh, I think it did pop it out. So that's what that looked like. And now, voila. Anybody getting tired of me saying that now? I still got a step fracture, but I may be able to get that as I thin it. Or I mean as I narrow it. So it's still more than 1.5 inches, so I got room. Ouch. Got to be careful. It's raw. Very hard stone. Very easy to install a step fracture if I'm too wimpy with the hits. Try to be aggressive, but I can't make this tip too narrow. See, the more aggressive I am on the edge, the narrower it gets, or quicker it gets more narrow. Yeah. So when they say it's a well-made point in the archaeological texts, it usually means it looks smooth flaking, no big lumpy wonky areas and stuff like that. And if it's random flaking, that just means that there's no step fractures. They've been told by knappers, and they can also see that a non-step fractured point looks more skillfully made, which it is. All right. Takes time to develop the habit of avoiding the step fractures. And don't ask me to explain in a quick, easy way, because it took me over a year of just only doing that to learn to not take off or bite off more than I can chew. Dumb dogs are not letting me talk. Dum-dums. So I'm just making it more regular, and I'm going to try to get that step out. Did it get it? Yes. Just barely got that step fracture. Barely. I don't have a real one to go by, so I'm not sure if the thickest part is here above the notches or below the notches, or where the thickest part usually is on these. Yes, perfect. Okay. It's going to be probably a little too thin. Maybe. Hopefully not. I think this is flattened to elliptical cross section. So it's okay if it's flattened with some big flakes, like right here. This is a big flake that flattens it out. But there's still a lump there, but that's okay as far as I can tell. But this could be thick there. The notches are going to go down in here on the sides. All right. So that's it for the biface and the preform stage. We're going to move on to the next stage. Oops. I forgot to put this down earlier. Makes it easier to clean up the flakes, and also it makes it a little more easy to see what I'm doing. All right. Do I take the glove off? Not yet. Not yet. Maybe not ever for this one. Yeah. If I have to take off a flake with the indirect percussion, that's really difficult. I'll take the glove off so I can feel what's going on. But for now, let's see, I need to put some heavy pressure. And I find that the smaller tip works well. The smaller nail. I have another pressure flaker that's thicker. This one doesn't work as well as a smaller one for points of this size. The thicker one, the bigger one, it will work for large blades. But for this size, lattice point size, the smaller pressure flaker is good. And they say, or in the description, these are supposed to be finely serrated in many cases. Okay. But I gotta regularize it first. This concrete area is not too bad on the pressure. Yeah, not too bad. Just simple stuff to regularize it. I'm going to lose some length on here, lose some width, but it's okay. I'm still within range. This is what it's like to make a point to spec anyway. Just in case you're wondering, I still get the question, why don't you just make a bunch of points of the same spec and stuff? Isn't that like profitable? Nope, it's not. It actually takes more time and material to make a bunch of stuff to spec. You wouldn't think so, because you could get used to it. And there was a point, there was a time when I could make a bunch of stuff pretty much the same. And I thought I was not wasting much material, but when I actually did the math and actually sat down and tried to do a bunch of points and keep track, I found that I was losing money, both in terms of labor and material. And then it starts to get better as you get more proficient. But then the monotony sets in and you get tired of making the same point over and over. Well, you don't really get tired of making the same point. What you get tired of is the challenges in certain areas. You get the same challenges. Like if you're doing a point that's got difficult notches, when it comes around to doing the notches, you're like, oh man, here comes the notches. I'm not tired of Flintknapping, I'm just tired of these notches. That kind of thing. Or I'm not tired of the Flintknapping, I'm just tired of trying to get these tips right on a particular piece you're trying to make to spec. Or these serrations are a pain in the butt. That kind of thing. Alright. Got a little step fracture in there. Yeah, a lot of times I can pop that out with a spatula tool, which works alright. Pretty good, actually. I don't know. Sometimes these little serrations are put in with a slight bevel. So without knowing what the actual artifacts look like, I could put in these very delicate serrations that it's supposed to have with a slight bevel. But I don't know. We'll see. you know, just work on one side, not both sides when doing the serrations. Just put them in by just flaking downward on one side and just leave the other side the way it is. Don't pop them out from both sides. I might do that on this one because it's much easier, especially with tough raw stone. Right now I'm working both sides of the edge because this is part of regularizing it. See, this is part of getting that straight. Usually also when they say it's a well-made point in the literature, it means the edges are straight and that kind of thing. They're paying it. It looks like they were paying attention closely to the contours and the edges. That's why it's a well-made point. It's a little bit sharp, yeah. I'm gonna put serrations in. These are not the serrations. They're coming in a little bit. I'm still just regularizing. I got one more pass to put in the serrations more delicately than I'm doing now. I think I've seen points like this from Mississippi with the delicate fine serrations. They're not delicate, but they're just fine. The teeth are small, in other words. If you want to use a modern terminology, the serrations or the teeth are small and close together, many teeth per inch. That's what they mean by fine serrations. Not necessarily thin, you know, this way. Just a lot of teeth per inch. That's the fine serrations. So I'll be putting in a lot of teeth per inch on the upper part of the blade. Now the shoulders and the ears, or the barbs in the ears, are at the same width. So, and they say, you know, these sides become straight, so I'm going to straighten the sides out. Kind of reminds me of Big Sandy points. All right. There we go. Yes. Come on. You are tough with it. Not that tough. I'm using a steel pressure flaker. Yeah, there you go. Thin it down on this side. You see a lump there? Let's see if I can do it with pressure. No, I'm not going to be able to. Nope, not even going to try. Because if I mess it up, I lose too much length. So we're going to go to the steel, pop out those thinning flakes. Oh yeah, very tough. There we go. Yes, yes. Thin down. Thin it slightly for the notchings. It's thin enough for notching. It's a little bit too, it might be a little bit too thin, but oh well. Come on. Some of these are quite long. I was looking at the description. Up to about 5 inches. 2.5 inches up to about 5 inches. It's pretty long. It's like a knife blade when it gets up to that long. 140 millimeters. Where's 140 millimeters? It's 5.5 inches. It can be that long. And with only 1.5 inches wide, so that's pretty long. But this is 1 3/8 by almost 3. And we're still at 3/8 at the thickest part, but right above we're at 1/16 of an inch less. So that's 5/16. You can do the math on that. Let's do the millimeters. Yeah, 32. Let's see if it's 8. That'd be easy. No, it's less than that. It's like 6, 7. It's between 4 to 1 and 5 to 1, so it's a little bit thin. 4 to 1 was my average. What do we got? Yeah, 4 to 1 to 3 to 1. So it's actually thinner. Thicker than this one. The real ones are thicker. Oh well. Anyways, I'm going to put the notches in first, and then I'm going to put in the tiny serrations. Well, first I'm grind all the way around. They say it's ground down lightly down here. Do that now. Yeah. All right. Just gonna crunch them in. Crunchy, crunchy. Where's a pressure flaker? Yeah. There's a substantial amount of stem down here, the ones I saw. They say the notches are just as wide as they are deep. So easy peasy. When they're just as wide as they are deep, it's easy peasy. Relatively speaking. Gives you a lot of room in case you stall it. And if you're using natural tools on tough stone, it's relatively easy. And no one likes to hear that. The new guys don't like to hear that. They're like, it's not easy for me. Yes, we know. We know. Not done with the notches on that side yet. On the other side, I'm just placing them. It seems to be quite symmetrical. These, when I saw pictures of these. All right, so we're gonna switch to a spatula tool, Ishi stick, to do these pop outs, and it's pretty thick. This is hefty. Now, when am I going to start using the vertical punch? I don't know. It's a mystery. Why is the spatula tool good? Because it concentrates the force, and it's not going to bend because I'm pushing in this direction. It's not going to bend. It'll bend if I do that and push like this. You know, a spatula tool allows you to have a smaller point of contact without bending. It won't bend like a nail with just a rounded tip. Okay, ready? Let's see. These notches might be a little bit high up on there. Maybe. I forgot to write down the dimensions of where the notches start. Sometimes they have that. I think it showed a dimension for when the notches start up on the blade. And the base is slightly convex, right? I think. Okay. So I got the slight convex on the bottom here. All right, let's get this. Let's get these crunched in. I'm in danger of stalling it, but you know what? Since these notches are wide, I can widen it out and it'd be okay. You see all that crunching I was doing? No? I know you weren't seeing it. I gotta put another glove on. It's digging into my hand. I'm using a lot of pressure. Okay. The glove adds a little bit of padding so it doesn't bother me. And they say that the top of this notch is horizontal. That means that the notches don't go in this way and they don't go down that way. They're just horizontal straight in. I don't need to go much deeper than that. Just a good pop out on the other side, and that's it. Yeah, you didn't see. It's just a crunch. Like this. Nope, you can't see that either. Just push like this. Let's see. See, it's bumping up, this easy stick bumping up against me. Alright, so where is the focus? It's not going to focus. It's just downward like that. I think I blew out that. I blew this ear when I was showing you just then. Oh well. It's just downward, you know, put this on top. It's not biting in like sometimes I do like this. No, this time it's just on top, pushing down. Everyone says, well, okay, yeah, we know. We know that. We want to see Folsom. Yes. My only consolation is some of those guys out there, they don't know. What's Folsom? I'm not telling. There it is. Huge amount of pressure downward. Just get those pop outs. And since they don't need to go very far in, you just need to crunch them. and just leave it. Just crunch them in. Get yourself a good Ishi stick with a spatula tool. Crunch them in. Come on. Not like that. Don't make me stall it. I'm stalling it right there at the in that thick spot. Just like a newbie. Ouch. I'm going to exhaust my notching muscles before I even start the week. That's a no-no. I got a step fracture right there that I would like to remove. Yeah, my wrist is already, it's already squawking. I might be able to put those little serrations in with this tip. Just need to sharpen it a little bit. No, not like that. I slipped and it didn't. That would have been a good flake. Dang it. I was trying for a longer flake because it was a ridge right there. Perfect opportunity. There it goes. There we go again. Here we go. Too many tools on the side, they start rolling off. All right, regularized. Is it regularized enough? Good enough? No, not good enough yet. All right, I'm just going to sharpen the pressure flaker. Yeah, these notches don't go very far deep on these, right? Let's see. Let me try to get rid of that stall. The stalls bug me. I know that sometimes you try to get rid of them and they get worse. That might happen. We'll see. I'm going to use a smaller, very bendable spatula tool, but sometimes I can get in there and pop some of that out. Yeah, sometimes I can do it. With a lot of focus, but that's not doing it. It's just depositing steel. It's just depositing steel right there. Right when I'm trying to pop it out in this direction. Now, if I widen the notch, it can do it. I betcha. This time I'm going to use the blade in and then pull down. Yes, no. No, it's not going to do it. All right. I tried. And some of you say, you tried what? I didn't see nothing. Yeah, you don't get much chance to do that kind of maneuver. You only get a couple shots at it. You know, you could take a little bit off the top of that notch. It's still blurry as heck. See how I punched out that little divot right there? That was all I could get toward trying to push off this lumpy area. Right here, this lumpy area where my fingernail is sitting on. All I could get was that little divot. And anything else, it's going to stall. I mean, it's just going to keep grinding on that. It's not going to push it out. It's not going to pop it out. I'm going to try it. When I sharpen this, I'm going to try this on there and see if I can pop it out. Because I just don't like when it has a thick area like this. All right. That's all. The shape is fine. All right, see if I can pop that out a little bit. Did it do it? No. Felt like it did. No, it's not doing it. You can't see anything. I'm pushing on that. You still can't see. There's another way to do it. It involves taking this edge back and then restrike right there. And thin it from here by shooting downward, which is dicey, but oh well. Dicey stuff. Oh well. Okay. Did it do it? Oh, see, that went a little bit too far, but I think I might be able to push that out. It didn't do anything. It just kind of rode up over the top of that. It didn't widen out far enough that way. I still might be able to get it. You probably won't be able to see it because my hands keep getting in the way. I felt like it took something off. Come on. Yeah, tough stone. Vertical punch. Yeah, I know. I have one. This one here. I'm afraid that if I hit it really hard, it's gonna ruin my pad. Let's try it anyway. Try it with a little ball peen. Where's the ball peen? This one. Nothing. And I put a hole in my pad. See the hole right there? Did it do anything? Except drill a hole in my pad? Didn't do nothing. Just try in a weaker area and try to walk it in. It's not doing nothing. Alright, so yeah, that'll ruin the pad quick. So let's see what else. I'm going to try to walk it in. Why am I bothering with this? Because it's for the video. It's not more, I haven't gone an hour yet. Still. Trying all my tricks. Except for the file. If I had the file, or if I took it out, this would have been okay a little while ago. Yeah, there it is. Just popped one out that way, enlarged the notch a little bit, and popped it out that way. So it makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah. What am I doing now? Just making it deeper because I took the side down, so that makes the notch less deep when I did that. So just deepen the notch a little bit if I can. Oh boy. Let's see. No. Not like that. Yeah, I could end up stalling it even more. I'll just leave it. The solution is just keep making the notches wider and wider until you get the depth you want. Yep. Did I? Yeah, I already sharpened this pressure flaker, but I'm gonna have to sharpen it again because I dulled it on the notch. Come on. All right. Dang, I really ground this down a lot. All right. Time to sharpen again. Put in some little teeth. Little teeth. Can we see? I can't see nothing. It's constantly blurry and it's all over the place. My hand's in the front. I don't know what to do. Let's work from the tip down, since that's the way I've been doing my pressure flaking lately. See, we're going to put some little teeth in there. Close together. Little flakes. And I'll come back and put more teeth in if I need to. Step fractures. Gotta love them. Not supposed to grind it when you're in a final pass. So I'm not going to grind it. Grinding helps prevent those step fractures. How did they deal with them in the past? They just left them in. Yep, there's plenty of artifacts with step fractures on the edge. They just left them. Okay. And if you don't see them on there, that means they didn't put them in to begin with. There's not much chance for doing damage control with delicate natural tools. You kind of really need to focus the energy in a lot of cases to do the damage control. I gotta make sure the edge is sharp. It looks like I'm crunching the edge and just blurriness like you wouldn't believe. Which means I gotta hold my pressure flaker in a way that I don't normally hold it. So you can see. So I am thinning the edge slightly, but also putting these flakes close together. Hopefully creating a nice serrated edge. And I'm pushing off in the direction of the lumps. So I can scoop out those lumps with the flake. Come on. How do they do this with natural tools? with lots of patience and a very tough piece of antler. Now there's bones that we haven't even explored yet. Different animal bones, some of them are very, very hard. Depends on where you find them. That kind of gives you a hint. Oh yes. Can you see, or is it blurry? So little bitty serrations, little bitty saw teeth. Right? That's what it wants. That's what it needs. Right? It needs those little saw teeth. So it's sharp along the very edge. Come on, focus. Yeah. I can pick at it a little bit down here in the notch area. I see some steps. Yes, no. No. Yeah. Too tough. The stone is too tough. So it's already ground down here. It's a relatively thick point. I think we're done. Little bitty serrations. The base is thinned. The stem is thinned, I mean. Let's see how it fits on that little dart foreshaft. Very nice. With a deeper notch than this, probably. Although not much deeper. The dogs will not let me talk. Not much deeper than this notch. Although it could be this deep and you just wrap over the wood completely. Yep. But I like to put as much wood as possible in here and just wrap up in an arc over the top of the wood like that. Using this top side of the notch for the upward arc wrapping, so it'll resist being pushed inward. Yeah. Do I have them? Let's see. Where happened to my knife blade? Hold on. Hold on. Not my knife blade, my knife handle. Yeah, see, this is up over the top of the notches. You just need to make the handle more narrow. If you wanted to turn it into a knife, you make this handle more narrow. But it looks like a little dart point. Okay. All right, so there you go. That's it.